appreciate Elliot for this opportunity to share Ghana's experience with the Common Alerting Protocol. It is particularly meaningful to us to be here amongst people who are experts in this kind of early warning systems due to our commitment to saving life and property. And today I will be sharing some of the challenges that we face in implementing CAP, our landscape in the alert ecosystem, and then some success stories that we've seen. And then lastly, I'll go ahead with some plans that we have to improve our alerting system in the country. So for us as the Ghana Meteorological Agency, our mission is to provide efficient weather and climate services for the socio-economic development of Ghana. And our vision is to become a lead meteorological service provider in the sub-region. And we know that the provision of early warning information is a critical part to actually attain this vision and then mission. And so without a very structured way of communicating information to the public, then we basically are not going to attain this vision and mission that we have set for ourselves. And so that's for this reason why we have taken the implementation of CAP as national priority and focus on improving the early warning services that we provide to the general populace. So in Ghana, we have a lot of dominant hazards. Amongst them is flood, thunderstorms, dry spells, droughts, and then a lot of coastal hazards, coastal inundation, storm surge, and all of that. Some parts of the country are even taken away by the ocean due to its influence over land. And so it poses a lot of risk to people who live close to the coast and across the country. But there's minimal public alerting system. And the instances where we have some alert systems too, they are sort of segregated in silos. And so you don't see a coordinated effort to propagate information to the general populace. And the information that is also going is not standardized. And so even within the institution, it depends on the person who is actually sending the information, who decide the structure, the content, and all of that, which makes it quite problematic for people to even appreciate the information that they receive. And to top this is that there's limited coordination amongst the stakeholders who are involved in the disaster risk management and ecosystem. For instance, the Meteorological Institution, the Disaster Management Organization, the Fire Service, Red Cross, Hydrological Service, Geological Survey people were all not working together to put resources together. And so there was a limit of resources. One institution cannot be able to do all. And so you get to a point and you are stuck. But if we were to come together and then pull the resources together, then we'll be able to achieve a greater goal. So we had that limited coordination as a country. And with the Common Alerting Protocol implementation, this is sort of bridging that gap that we had and providing the platform for us all to have that dialogue and build on that to issue alert information to people who are within the country. So what we aim to achieve as objectives for the implementation of CAP is to have a measurable alert system where we'll be able to track the delivery of all alerts that have been sent, the channels that we are using to send this information out to the people, and also the population that will be reached or covered by the information that we are sending through the Common Alerting Protocol. And we also want to align the information with the international standards, so from the Meteorological Organization point of view and from the telecommunication point of view as well. And we also want to have a practical alert system that fits the context of Ghana. We know that we have a lot of issues when it comes to our language barrier and even literacy level and all of that. So the alert system should be the one that will be actually applicable to the system that we have here. And in the end, to support the broader disaster risk reduction goal for the country. So for now, we are relying on the AlertWise as the system for generating our alerts. We started the CAP on the Alert Hub system through the efforts of Elliot. And now, as part of the content management system, which WMO has started, Martha talked about it on Tuesday. And so we are now using the AlertWise to generate the messages and sending them out to the public. And for now, the alerting authority is the Ghana Meteorological Agency. And we are using a lot of dissemination channels, social media, websites, web platforms, and mobile applications. Some of the mobile applications that we're using is that we have a flood risk app for Accra, which is communicating water levels at some flood-prone areas in Accra, which is the capital of the country and the most populous city in the country. And so we are using the app to also communicate the common alerting protocol messages that are sent. We also have another app which is Faster. That one covers the entire country, and we're also transmitting the CAP alerts through Faster as well. So everybody who is on Faster, more like a nowcasting application, is also getting the alerts that are issued through the common alerting protocol. So this is how the content management system looks like for Ghana. So at the back end, we're able to compose the messages, but this is the front end where people can get access to the information that has been issued. So when they go to the alerts, they get the information. Anytime there's an existing alert, it will be popping up on the screen. So once you open the website, you get that information, you click on it and get the details of the information. So aside the common alerting protocol messages, you also get access to other early warning products and then climate information services that we deliver as a meteorological institution, all on the website, and people can get them for free there. So far we have issued about 297 CAP alert messages, and the dominant one is on thunderstorms and score lines. This is the most common hazard that we see here, followed by rain and wet spells. Flash flood has also seen some significant CAP alerts. And a very important one is when we are trying to communicate the state of the ocean to people who use the ocean for their daily activities. So we use the high seas also to communicate some information for people in the marine space. We have also sent one for dust storms that occur during the dry period of Ghana. And a breakdown of the alert severity that we have been sending. So the moderate severity is the one that has had the highest number. We have sent around 196 of them, followed by the severe level. The minor level is less because we decided to tone down on the sending of messages that are of the minor severity. People were getting a lot of, it was creating some unnecessary tension in town. So we decided to tone down the minor alerts and just focus on the moderate and the severe ones, so that when they get to them, the actions that they take based on this information becomes relevant to the information that they are receiving. Once we engage more and then train people more on the interpretation of the messages, we'll go ahead and send the minor ones also as part of this alert distribution. And this is how hazard type and severity level distribution is showing for us. So for thunderstorms, we've seen a lot more of them being of the moderate severity, followed by the severe ones. For rain and wet spells too, we're seeing the minor severity being more. And then for flash flood, we're seeing a lot of the extreme showing as the highest within the, that's the severe, showing as the highest for flash flood. So generally between moderate and then severe for flash flood. For dust storms, it was generally of the moderate severity that we sent out. These are some activities that we have been able to complete as part of our implementation of CAP. So when we were launching the Early Warnings for All initiative, trying to develop the roadmap, we used CAP as one of the tools to feed this Early Warnings for All initiative. And so we had a lot of stakeholder consultation, talk about common alerting protocol messages as part of this Early Warnings for All roadmap. And we also use the opportunity to also train people on the use and then the access of CAP messages, so where they can get the information and then how to even interpret the information when they get them. We did a lot of training on them. The recent one that we did focused on media within the southern parts of the country, where we had a lot of media houses brought together, taking through the common alerting protocol messages, what it actually means, what they should do when they get the messages, where they can get the messages, and how they can also translate that information to the people who are listening to them on radio and watching them TV as well. What we are currently doing is that through the WMO, we are doing an engagement with the Google Public Alerts to have our alerts go on the Google Public Alerts, the National Communications Authority, to have a national emergency communication plan, which will use the common alerting protocol messages to disseminate information to the entire populace. We want to widen the reach and get more people get access to the information. Another significant thing that we are doing is engaging some agri-tech companies who are already sending agronomical information to some farmers in very vulnerable communities. And what we're doing is that most of these people in these areas hardly understand or speak English. They cannot read or write. And so they can only communicate in the local languages that they speak. And so we are combining or engaging with these agri-tech companies to use the facilities that they have now to get access to the CAP messages, translate them into local languages, and then disseminate them to the people that they are engaging. So we are starting as a pilot, and later we'll see how we can expand on this to cover the entire country. Some success stories, I just picked some few of them. In June, we sent an alert for a disturbance line that was approaching the middle and northern portions of the country. And when we sent this information, it was communicated to our airport office, that's the Aeronautical Meteorological Watch office at the Kotoka International Airport. And they used this as part of the briefings that they sent out to the pilots for that particular day to warn them of the possibility of some severe events happening on their path. And there was a report, mid-flight turbulence, which the pilot says that was an unusual one, not the kind that they usually get within that part. And so people who were also on board took to social media and talked about the experience that they had. But it was very good because the people who were involved in this flight operations were all aware of the information, and they knew what they should expect whilst they were taking that route for that particular trip. Another one that we have been able to do is that outside the land, on the ocean too, we are providing some information there, and the information was just going to some selected people, and so not getting the reach that it deserves. And so we're using CAP now to communicate the information to almost everybody who's along the coastline of Ghana. And so we sent out dangerous conditions at sea when we're expecting some dangerous conditions to be experienced over the ocean of Ghana. And this was sent out between June and 1st July. And these messages were actually sent out to all the relevant stakeholders on time. Information centers along the coast also got the information, and they sent out their own broadcast to people. We have a group which has chief fishermen and other fishermen on board, and so we sent the CAP messages there as well to them. And the decision that was actually taken was that they halted fishing activities during that period when we were expecting the dangerous conditions at sea. And so for that period, nobody was actually on the sea to fish for that particular period, because they usually go with their smaller vessels and then the canoes. And so if they had gone, there was a likelihood that they could have had some casualties. We've had events where people lost their lives, they lost a lot of their livelihoods there due to dangerous conditions that were occurring over the ocean. So with this decision they took, it was quite life-saving, and then also saving their property as well. Some challenges that we have had so far is how we will integrate the common alerting protocol with the traditional media and then the community information systems, so that we'll be able to have a more localized way of sending the information to the people and reaching a lot more people, bridging the gap of language and people reading and writing on this and being able to read what we have on our website. We've also had a lot of issues with coordination when it comes to mandate issues. People think that they are mandated to do this, and so they don't see why they should come together and do it together. So we're having some issues with coordination, but we've had some improvement, and now we can say that we have progressed significantly in that aspect. We have also not been able to make a lot more noise about this early warning system or common alerting protocol messages that we have. And so we need to do a lot more awareness campaigns to get people on board. And also there's some limitation with infrastructure. And so we are leveraging on other people who also have the infrastructure to use them as a means to communicate to the people. But like I said earlier, language is a big barrier for us. And so we are working on trying to fix this through other means as well. So what we intend to do to fix these issues that I already talked about is, one, for us as the Ghana Meteorological Agency, we have been able to procure some digital screens, and so we are going to mount them in some vantage points across the country where common alerting protocol messages will be displayed whenever they are sent. We are also going to enhance the training of the media and engage more people, community radio centers, information centers, train them on the common alerting protocol messages, how to assess them, how to interpret them, so that they will also become people who will also relay this information to their listeners, and then we'll reach a lot more people. We have a flood early warning system in Accra, and we have been able to work together with them to be able to compose CAP messages from that Fuse Accra system. What we are doing now is linking it to the alert processes that we have here, so that anytime the Fuse system sees an alert and issues the CAP alert, it will be sent through our system as well and get to everybody who is supposed to get that information. We're also working together with the National Communications Authority to use the CAP as a primary input for the National Emergency Telecommunication. So we are developing a plan that will be used to send out the information to the people and reach a wider population. So CAP is playing a very critical role as the primary input of the information when it comes to weather and other geological information which needs to go to the public. And this is an aim to reach wider population across the country. Our last thing is also doing a public-private partnership where we give people who are involved in the telecommunication or agri-tech companies, we give them an access through the webbook, and then they will now be able to convert the CAP messages that have been sent into audio in local languages and transmit this information through robocalls and voice messages to people who are affected in the areas where they are, and they can appreciate the information better. What we are doing is starting as a pilot over northern Ghana, because that is the most vulnerable area, and that is where literacy level is quite low compared to the southern portions of Ghana. So we'll start in the northern parts of the country, pilot it, see the successes and the challenges that we'll face, and then fix them before we expand it to cover the entire country. So in conclusion, we've seen that the Common Alerting Protocol is feeding directly into our early warnings for all initiative, and we have actually seen a lot of progress where people who all the pillars have accepted CAP as a low-hanging fruit. So everybody wants to see the CAP succeed, and so we are all interested in getting this done. And CAP is featuring significantly in the National Emergency Telecommunication Plan. So as a country, we are very vulnerable to a lot of hazards, multiple hazards. And so effective early warning is not just a technical challenge for us, but it is seen as a national imperative that we would have to do to get the lives and the property of people saved in a way. So CAP has sort of become a cornerstone in our efforts to ensure that timely and actionable alerts actually reach every Ghanaian, regardless of their location or the circumstances that they find themselves in. So for this reason, we are open to a lot of suggestions on how to improve what we have done so far, and collaborations to also improve on the services that we're providing, so that we'll be able to reach a lot more people and then protect life and livelihood in the country. Once again, I want to thank Elliot a lot, and also the WMO for the support that they have given us in the implementation of our Common Alerting Protocol. And like I said, we are seeking collaborations to improve on these things that we have done and do even better, so that we can reach more people in the near future. Thank you very much.